Hello and welcome back to my channel. As always, it's so great to have you here hanging out with me. It seems as though relationships are under a lot of pressure during this COVID situation and the stay-at-home order. So in this video, I want to give you the goods on the best way to keep the love alive for each sign of the zodiac. This way you can do your part to make sure that the flames of passion, love, communication, and connection continue to burn and you and your relationships continue to thrive. For this video, you want to check their sun sign, moon sign, and Venus placement. So no more wasting time. Here are the best ways to make sure to keep the love alive for each sign of the zodiac. Let's go. Okay, Aries. So Aries is very confident in their own opinions and are very connected to how they feel. So it doesn't take them long to decide that you are the one for them. And once they decide they want something, all systems are go and they are off and running. They fall in love quickly with tons of excitement and tons of passion, and instantly when they have strong feelings for someone, Aries begins to initiate. They start planning for the two of you. They make sure everything is in place that needs to be in place. And this is really exciting for someone who is lucky enough to be with an Aries because they're thinking, wow, this is great. This person is really incredible when it comes to making things happen and taking care of the plans that involve us while taking care of me. It's a great relationship, right? Okay. But in order to keep that fire burning, it is so important that you don't take your Aries and their initiator nature for granted. It is important that you also take some initiative yourself. How about you come up with some of the plans for date night, like where the two of you are going, etc. Or since we're all on the stay-at-home order right now, you come up with what you're going to cook for dinner that night. Don't just sit back and think that because your Aries is good at handling things or because they have always been the one to initiate, that they wouldn't love it if you handled some things some of the time without them asking. Now, of course, an Aries will straight out ask you, hey, will you do this? Or I need you to do that? Or can you handle this? But if you really want to keep the love alive, then let them see your involvement and your investment in the relationship by you taking the wheel sometimes and you doing things for them and the relationship without them asking. When they see you taking initiative, it will really show them how much you care, how much you appreciate them, and it will also ignite that part of them that is attracted to doers. So don't just kick back with your feet up thinking, oh, they got it handled. Show your Aries that you know how to take the lead at times, even down to little things like doing the dishes or randomly cleaning up, just to show them that they don't have to do everything, nor do they have to play the parent, or in order to get you to do something that they have to ask always. Every once in a while, be a spontaneous initiator, and the heart of your Aries will burn bright and consistently for a long time. Okay, Taurus, as I've said in other videos, Taurus is big on proof. And unlike Aries, they aren't quite as good at directly asking for what it is that they want. Taurus can be the type that is secretly testing the relationship in their mind to get proof through your actions that you care. They will think, well, let me see if he's gonna call, or let me see if she's gonna come in for the kiss. They watch how you behave, and then from that, they form an opinion about you and how you feel. So the best way to make sure to keep the love alive with your Taurus is to continually show them how much you love them with compassion and action. You can't be the type that used to cook for them all the time in the beginning, and then you got comfortable in the relationship and now you never surprise them with dinner. Or you can't be the type that in the beginning you always return their texts immediately or answered their calls when they were reaching out, and now you kind of fall off because you got comfortable. And yes, it's true, it's easy to get comfortable with the Taurus because when they love you, they go all out to make sure that you feel comfortable. But that doesn't mean that they are okay with you not expressing your love with the same excitement and intention that you did in the beginning of the relationship. So in order to keep the love alive with the Taurus, whatever standard you two set in the beginning for how often you would see each other, or how often you would talk, or how often you would have sex, you have to keep that standard going. Otherwise, they start to think, what happened? They start to question the relationship, and it starts to change the way that they feel about you and the relationship. Now, I know with certain things, they're not always gonna be at a 10. Like if when you first got together, you couldn't keep your hands off each other. It's understandable even for a Taurus for that to diminish a bit over time, but a bit is very different than you haven't touched me in 2 weeks, or we haven't seen each other in months. So remember, Taurus goes by proof. So in order to keep that Taurus fire burning, you have to keep your expression of love steady. Now Gemini. It takes a while for Gemini to get to the place where they can say out loud that they are in love. They can be into you and having a good time and really like you and be very authentic about it. But for them to get to the place where they are saying they are in love, that means that they are truly in it for the long term. So if you're at that place with your Gemini, then congratulations. Because getting flirtatious Gemini to fall for you is one thing, but to fall in love with you is quite another. And once you've gotten there to that place of love between the two of you, here's the way to keep that love alive. You have to be a good communicator. And this isn't even because they're so great at communication. I mean, don't get me wrong, they are good communicators in general, and in everyday life, they can be fantastic communicators in terms of networking and expressing creative ideas. But when their emotions get involved, it can be very difficult sometimes for a Gemini to find the words or even to know exactly how they feel. So it's really important for you to be good at communication. And by that, I mean, just make sure to be direct with them, be honest with them, and be willing to compromise when the two of you have a conflict of any sort. To keep the love alive with the Gemini, they have to trust that no matter what comes up, you don't shut down and then shut them out or take off running, threatening to break up. They need to be sure that when the two of you meet a challenge in the relationship, that you want to talk it out and get to the place where you both feel understood and heard. So to keep the love alive with the Gemini, keep it lighthearted and fun, like I always say about Geminis, because if the good times go, so does their excitement for the relationship. But more than anything, make sure that when there is conflict, that you're open, honest, and willing to communicate with no judgment and support them for the way that they feel, and their love for you will continue to thrive. Okay, Cancers. When a Cancer falls in love, it is such an exciting feeling for them and for the person that they're with, because when the relationship is going well, no one knows how to make you feel more special, more protected, more attractive, and just all around important. The thing is with Cancers, they are always protecting themselves as well, which is good because when you love yourself, you're going to protect yourself. But it can sometimes be a challenge for the person that they're with, because to them, it will seem like their Cancer is often in the mode of being defensive or untrusting. So here's the thing. First, if you're in love with a Cancer and you want to keep that love alive and those fires of passion burning, you have to accept that you're with someone who at times is going to need reassurance. And it doesn't mean that they're doubting you necessarily. It just means that for them, when they get a feeling about something that makes them a bit unsure, they want to get rid of that feeling as soon as possible. And the only way to get rid of that feeling is to get reassurance. So they look to the person that they're in love with to give them that reassurance. So if you accept that them needing reassurance doesn't mean that they don't love you or that they don't trust you, that it just means that they do love you, and at times their emotions and thoughts lead them to a place of uncertainty, then you'll understand that they're just looking to the person that they love to help them get back to the place of being sure about the relationship. And to do that, you may need to answer a few questions and give them some reassurance without making them feel like they're being ridiculous for having those thoughts or feelings of uncertainty. So to keep the love alive with a Cancer, it's all about making sure that you do what it takes to support their need for reassurance. It's really just that when they feel so deeply about someone, they don't want to lose that connection. And at times, they need to be reassured that you feel the same way too. The cool thing is if you let them know that you're there for them and you make them feel safe enough to open up, they'll let you know exactly what they need in order to feel reassured. Give them that reassurance and they will give you the world, and the love will continue on and on, stronger than ever. Okay, Leos. Leos are all about the fairy tale. Now that doesn't mean that they live in an unrealistic world. It just means that all Leos, both male and female, want the best for themselves. And for them, the best is feeling like they found someone that really appreciates them and truly loves them in action more than just words, by the way. I don't know if you all have heard of the 5 love languages. I'm sure you probably have. They're words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. Well, with Leos, the languages that they're going to most appreciate are acts of service, receiving gifts, and physical touch. Words are cool and quality time is important for them, yes, but when it comes to words, saying I love you is nice, but they would much rather you show them. And when it comes to quality time, sure, they love being with you, but they also respect when you have things to do, because they too are ambitious and they can understand that a strong relationship is one where you can remain independent, you can support each other's goals, and still have an amazing connection. But physical touch, yep, they need it. Acts of service, yep, they love it. And receiving gifts, talk about a Leo lighting up. They love gifts. So the thing is with a Leo, if you want to keep the love alive, make sure the drama of you expressing your feelings is there. And by drama, I obviously don't mean crying and fighting, because that type of drama, you need to do your best to keep that to a minimum. They are not trying to live in a telenovela. I mean, passion, expression, surprises, adventures, romance, that's what they require. And if you consistently meet those requirements, you will be happy you did, and the love will thrive. Okay, Virgos. Now with Virgos, they also take their time getting to a place of truly being able to say that they are in love. But this is because they are an earth sign and do things in a step-by-step manner, and also they never want to end up feeling like they made the wrong decision. But once they are sold on you being the one for them, you can for sure trust that you're with someone that's going to be very loving, very consistent, and very sensitive. Now, once you two have that love, here's the way to keep that love alive. Obviously, like with all the earth signs, Virgos need trust, honesty, compassion, etc. I mean, all signs need those things, but I want to make sure to point out the things that are important to each sign that may not be that high on the list of importance when it comes to other signs and other people. And with Virgos, there are two main things you need to make sure of. And number one is make sure you respect their need to have their own life. Virgos are open and direct, but they also like to reserve a certain part of their life that is all their own, where they feel like they can regroup and recharge and just take a breather from life without having to explain it to anyone. Sometimes they like to recharge and regroup and escape the world with you, but at times they do need to be alone and to have that personal space honored. And understanding that and supporting that is a surefire way to keep the love alive with a Virgo. Number two is always make sure you are learning, not necessarily from them, but learning from life in general. Virgos love the idea of being with someone that has information in areas that they don't, because this means that the two of you can enrich each other's lives by bringing something to the table that the other may not have experienced. And this feeling of always learning and being able to exchange valuable information and have interesting conversations for a Virgo keeps them interested and will keep that love alive and thriving. Okay, Libras. Libras are the sign of partnership and actually thrive in a relationship. So when they have the opportunity to connect with someone and develop a loving relationship, they're in their element for sure. Don't forget, Libra, just like Taurus, is ruled by Venus, the planet of love and relationships. And although it may be a challenge sometimes for them to settle on who's the right one, once they do settle, they are an amazing partner to have on your side. Now, once you find this connection with a Libra, it is very important to put in the effort and dedication it takes to keep that love alive. In order to do so, it is important to know this. Libras want a partner. They don't want a leader. They don't want a follower. They want a partner. They want someone that knows how to be a team player. So if you want to make sure to keep the love alive with a Libra, it is very, very important that you never make them feel alone. They never want to feel like they're in the relationship all by themselves. Meaning this, they want to see that you are willing to put in the same amount of effort that they are. Libra is represented by the scales, which is all about balance. So that means that they want a relationship with a balance of give and take. They are a cardinal sign, which I like to call leader signs because it's just easier to understand what cardinal means when you call it leader sign. But like Aries, Cancer, and Capricorn, the other leader signs, they are initiators. But for Libras, being a leader doesn't mean bossing everyone around. And especially in their relationship, they don't want to have to consistently tell you what to do. They want to feel like you two decide things together. And we know that Libras can be indecisive, so it's great for them to be with someone that they can talk things out with, someone that helps them when it comes to making important decisions. The bottom line is the love of a Libra will thrive in a situation where they truly feel respected, where they truly feel cared for, and like I said before, like they're part of a team, a partnership that is equal when it comes to love and respect. Now, Scorpios, if you're in love with a Scorpio and that Scorpio is in love with you and you have the unique pleasure of being in that committed relationship with them, then you already know playtime is over. Scorpios are not the type to just toy with the idea of love. If you two are in that deep, connected relationship and you want to keep those flames of desire and love burning, then you have to keep the passion, intensity, honesty, and ambition in the relationship running at a 10. If a Scorpio goes for it, they go all the way, and you need to have the capacity to do the same if you want to keep that love alive. Scorpios don't do basic. They just don't. So the key to making sure to keep the love alive with the Scorpio is making sure not to let too much go unsaid on either side. Scorpios have a tendency to observe, kind of like Tauruses do, to observe and make assessments based on what they witness. Then they begin to make decisions from their observations. So if you feel a shift or a disconnect or some distance starting to happen with you and your Scorpio, say to them, I feel that we haven't been as connected as we usually are lately, so I want to know if there's anything that I can do that I haven't been doing that would make you feel closer and more excited about the relationship, because I don't like feeling disconnected from you. This will give your Scorpio the opening to let you know if there's anything going on, as opposed to you saying, hey, what's your problem? Or what's wrong with you? That will not lead to a connecting conversation. So show your Scorpio that your priority is the relationship and that you understand that part of your responsibility in the relationship is showing them that they are loved in a way that feels loving to them. When they see your level of commitment and your willingness to put in the effort consistently, then that will for sure keep the love alive. Okay, Sagittarius, when it comes to a Sagittarius, they bring all the excitement to life and the relationship that anyone could ask for. They usually have a great sense of humor. They're not uptight at all when it comes to you suggesting things that the two of you can do. I mean, they might laugh at a few of the ideas, but they're not uptight about it. They're willing to try things. They're always down for a good time. And they don't really waste time on petty details when it comes to arguments. So they can be an amazing person to be with. And Sagittarius gets a bad rap when it comes to relationships because they're the archer and they're known to always be on the hunt. And because of this, they get a label of being non-committal. But this isn't altogether true. The truth is they can for sure commit, and they do commit when they're in love. The challenge is keeping their interest and their desire for that commitment. Sagittarius is about the new and the exciting. So if you two are together, that means at some point they saw you as new and exciting. So if you want to keep the love alive, you have to remain new and exciting. Now, this doesn't mean it's your job to entertain them, but what it does mean is that you have to be the type of person that is living your life, like truly living your life. That means learning, growing, experiencing new things, because when you're on this type of path as an individual in your own life, then you're constantly evolving into a new expansive version of yourself. So as you grow and evolve, this keeps your Sagittarius interested, which keeps the love alive because they love adventure. And being with you, someone who is truly living life, will be a constant adventure. So the truth is, if you're the type of person that pretty much does just about the same thing on a day-to-day basis, which there's nothing wrong with, and the type of person who isn't that interested in learning something brand new or trying anything new, and you're good with that, then be ready to also be good with not being happy in your relationship if you're with a Sagittarius, because that is a recipe for the love to begin to fade and for you to get the irritated side of Sagittarius. And that's not pretty, because as fun and exciting as a Sagittarius can be, they can also have a not so fun and not so exciting side when they are frustrated with your lack of passion for life. So to keep the love alive with a Sagittarius, keep your excitement for life alive and always be in a constant state of leveling up when it comes to who you are, and the love will thrive. Okay, Capricorns. When it comes to Capricorns, you can for sure rest assured that if you two are in love and have established a committed relationship, then they plan on keeping that love alive. Because if you've been watching my channel, you'll know that Capricorns are wired for long-term commitment, and they really don't have any interest in being in love for a quick second and then moving on to the next conquest. For them to feel love for someone means that they feel safe with them, that they trust them, that they want to protect them, and that they have the confidence that this person will make decisions that are in alignment with their standard of right and wrong. So here's the thing with keeping the love alive with a Capricorn. Capricorns are used to being the ones in the relationship that are driving the force of security, meaning they're the ones that are making sure you're taken care of and that everything's running smoothly. So if you make sure to periodically do something loving or sweet for them without them asking for it, their heart will be filled with even more love for you than they already have. It's also really important to not break any of the rules of what they see as right and wrong. Basically, just never lie to them and never show signs of distrust for them. They are big on how someone sees them, and when it comes to the person that they love, they really want to be seen as someone who's honest, reliable, and trustworthy. If they feel like you don't trust them, it makes them feel like you don't know them, because in their mind, there's no one more trustworthy than they are. So expressing, for instance, something like jealousy towards them makes them feel unsure about you and the relationship because they'll think that you don't trust them. And although they can be judgmental themselves, they for sure cannot stand being judged by anyone else. And I know this is a double standard. And this is something that Capricorn should work on. But it's my job to give you the tools to deal with the Capricorn that you're in a relationship with. So knowing this about them is going to be helpful to avoid scenarios of disconnect. It's also true that Capricorns are always giving off the perception that they have everything handled and that they don't need help with anything. So when you just randomly do something nice for them and make their life easier, or to just show them that you love and appreciate them, while of course remaining consistent with your honesty, affection, and support, then the love will only grow over time. If they can depend on you to be consistently true to the relationship and you throw in a few unexpected moments of appreciation, you will have their heart for life and the love will stay alive. Okay, Aquarius. Now Aquarius is going to be a tricky one because if you're in a relationship with an Aquarius, you already know that they can be pretty hard to read sometimes. This is because they approach life on a situational basis. They don't have one set of rules that they live their life by other than the rule of making the best choice for whatever situation based on whatever that situation is. Now also, you know that being with them can be an amazing experience because they can make any situation feel alive because they have such a unique way of looking at life. So the one thing that I can tell you, if you have the pleasure of being in love with an Aquarius and having them be in love with you, is the way to keep the love alive is always keep them guessing. Meaning, yes, make sure the emotional connection is strong, but never be predictable or the person who is always saying no when they suggest something. And more than anything, don't continually bring up the past when it comes to something that they did that hurt you. If you're the type that can't get over something and you can't move on and you keep bringing up that situation, then their love for the relationship and their positive feeling towards you will begin to fade. The thing is, if something happened in the past, there needs to be a resolution for that. And it's your job to figure out what it is you require from them in order to get past that. Let them know what that thing is and see if they're willing to do it. That way, if they do it, you two can move on and never bring it up again. If they can't do it, then you two can still move on. But at least you know what you're dealing with in that situation, which is basically someone who's saying, look, I'm not willing to do that. And then you can make your decisions from there. But what you don't want to do is just continually bring it up over and over, because for sure that will send your Aquarius running for the door. An Aquarius does not want to dwell on things that cannot be changed, and no one can change the past. So just know now, if you want to keep their fire burning for you, don't put it out by dwelling on old mess that the two of you went through that you can't get over or change. Otherwise, your relationship is headed towards the land of disconnect. As a matter of fact, don't dwell on or keep bringing up any Debbie Downer topic.
Lather up the sunscreen. I had a mole looked at recently, and the doctor told me that due to the extent of its irregular borders, I'm flirting with a melanoma.
Aquarius does not want to discuss things that bring them down. So let go of the past and let go of any negativity in the present. Focus on the things that uplift the two of you, the things that both of you have in common, the things that you can laugh about and that you can be excited about and that you can explore together. And they will see you as a source of joy, and their love will continue to grow and will continue to thrive. And most of all, the love will stay alive. Okay. Pisces. Pisces, like Scorpio and Cancer, for sure require a consistent demonstration that you are in love if you want to keep the love alive. But they are unique in the way they experience love. They see love as acceptance and understanding and connection. So if you want to keep the love alive with a Pisces, make sure when they are opening up about something that they're interested in, like spirituality or philosophical topics about life, that you don't just shoot down their ideas or disregard something that they're passionate about. They love to explore these ideas with the person that they're with, and it only makes them feel closer to you when you listen to them, like you're truly interested. And be sincere and authentic, because they can definitely spot a phony from a mile away. So don't pretend to be interested. And if it's a topic that doesn't interest you, then just think of it like this. The person you love is interested in this topic, and you're interested in them. So you can find excitement just in the idea of watching their excitement while they're experiencing this topic. They just want to know that you care, and disregarding their ideas feels unloving to them. So don't disregard their ideas and take the time to be present with them when they're expressing passion for something. Another important thing about keeping the love alive with a Pisces is although they love to be the savior, meaning they love to help someone out of an emotional challenge, don't be too weak. Otherwise, it will bring both of you down. They want to be with someone who's vulnerable and emotionally open, but strong at the same time. They'll actually be very attracted to you, and love will for sure stay alive if they see that you can laugh in the face of adversity, that you take it seriously, but not so seriously at the same time. Meaning that when a challenge comes up, you take it seriously enough to do something about it to get to the other side of it, but you also don't take it so seriously that it becomes some major situation that the two of you just can't get past. So above all else, when it comes to a Pisces and keeping the love alive, give them the reassurance that you love them with your words, the evidence that you appreciate them with your actions, but also show them that you are genuinely supportive of what they're interested in. And when a challenge shows up, show them that the two of you can work as a united force to get past the situation in the most enjoyable way possible without playing the blame game and worrying about whose fault it is. If you go this path, the love will stay alive and it will definitely thrive. So there you have it. The best way to keep the love alive for each sign of the zodiac. I hope this information helps you understand the person that you're with a little better, and that it helps the two of you when it comes to love and the relationship while deepening the connection that you have, especially during these days of the stay-at-home orders. If you found this information useful, please hit that like button, and if you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so. Thanks again for hanging out with me, and I will see you in the next video.